guys, so today on the Phantom Cave YouTube channel, we're going to be having a look at a new concept that we started late last year, and that concept was a podcast. So we're into episode number 3 on the podcast, and you can listen to the podcast on YouTube and on Anchor and all the major podcasting channel apps. And as always, when I do my podcasts, they're usually about 10 minutes. So settle in. And in today's podcast, we're going to be having a look at comparing black and white comics to color versions of it. Now, the first color edition we're going to be having a look at is the 2020 Phantom Christmas Special by Rare Gold Publishers, issue number 6. And we're going to compare the color ones, obviously, to the black and white ones, which I've already picked out. Now, obviously, you're going to say, you're literally going to say, can you actually compare black and white comics to color versions? I know a lot of people, especially the Indian Phantom enthusiasts, they love their color ones because they were brought around the Indril. I don't even know the comic publishing name, but they had like Diamond Comics, they had Integral Comics, and now they've got the Regal Comics. So this one has the Cursed Land and the Dirty Half a Dozen. To compare that to another comic, which we will be having a look at very soon, and the next, if you would like to, you can put your own comments about comparing black and white issues to color issues. So I think the benefits of having color in publications and all that, you get to see the highlights, the saturation, and I think the vibrancy of the colors they're brought onto the page. Now, I'm going to show you a quick panel of one of the pages in issue 6. And the story is from A Cursed Land. Now, I haven't even read this story. And again, look at that, improvements in the color from the last couple of issues from Regal Publishers. Like the first couple, they weren't that great in color. The contrast wasn't great, and the paper wasn't great, and all that sort of stuff. So in saying that color can be better than black and white, I preferably would like black and white. I love black and white photos. I love black and white photography, and that's where we usually get the quotes from the famous photographer called, I think, Philippi Halsman. So Philippi Halsman was a photographer back in the old days when they had film and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of people know, if you know the aspects of photography and the black and white and all that dramatic sort of stuff, and then you compare it to a color version, and people that only seen color for the first time or black and white for the first time, they're not going to actually have that same sort of they're not going to have that same sort of thing that I would have. I guess if you're seeing color for the first time, you're going to be amazed and see, wow, this looks so good. If you're going to see black and white for the first time and haven't seen color for the first time, then it's going to be the same sort of thing. But I reckon, just in my personal, I reckon black and white is It gives that dramaticness to it. It gives that contrast, that highlight. And when you compare that to colors in like a Phantom comic, again, it has that dramaticness to it, but not as in a bigger level as in black and white does. So the black and white issues that I have with me today, one of them is Phantom related, and one of them is an all-out Batman story, which I've already read and reviewed on the channel. I'll go find the video for that, and I'll put the card up here if I can find it. Yeah, so I'll be showing pictures of black and white comics in the old days, comparing that to color versions. And the other color version we actually have with us is the Phantom graphic novel. And I'll be showing you right now, I'll be showing you a couple of panels from the black and white story, I think The Three Bandits. And that, one of those, that panel right there is a very famous panel because it's been dictated, it's been, what would you call it? It's been on stories, been on covers a long time, and it's been used everywhere in the comic industry, especially in the Phantom industry, especially in the Phantom comics. And that's especially when we have a look at foreign comics and when they use that story in, sometimes when they use that story, The Three Bandits, and they put it into color, you usually, to me, you lose that sort of dramatic feel to the story and the dramaticness of how the story had originally been created by, obviously, Lee Falk. And obviously I think it might have been art by Seymour Barry, I think so, and all that sort of stuff. A lot of times, I know I'm going to say this a lot, but a lot of times when you're trying to compare color versions to black and white, you're either going to be sitting on the fence, and saying nothing, or you're just going to be outright doing black and white or outright doing color. Now, if it was up to me to decide people on, if I wanted to go all out color, I would definitely go all out black and white. Now, I know that is controversial when you have a lot of Sweden versions of Phantom comics. They usually publish their comics in color. Obviously, in India, they obviously publish their comics in black and in color. And yeah, the final book that we will be actually having a look at and comparing it is the Batman Dark Knight Unwrapped David Finch. Now, I'll be showing you the cover for it. And this one, of course, is in black and white. It's in pencil, and a bit of it is in inked. Yeah, I love this book. I'm just gonna go off a little bit track here. This book, I bought it in 2019 or early 2020, and I'll show you one of the panels in it. Check that art out. Just check it out. If it was in color, yes, I know you're gonna say if it was in color, it would be awesome. All Batman stories usually are awesome. Comparing that to the Phantom, not as great to the Phantom, because the Phantom, is the first superhero or first hero that actually created by Lee Falk, as a lot of people know. And yeah, I guess that's my sort of color and black and white sort of discussion. If you have any comments on this probably podcast, you can comment down below in YouTube. You can send me a DM, or you can send me an inbox me at my email address, which is usually in the About section on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you wanted to subscribe, we're going to be having a look at this comic very, very soon. Another comic series that we will be having a look at very soon is Saga of the Vultures. And as always, keep Phantom Caving. And the last book that we actually were going to have a look at, but we didn't, was the first few publication, the Phantom graphic novel. And yes, it is in color. Look at that. So good. Yeah. Again, if I had to choose from black and white or color, I probably would go on the fence. Well, most of the time I'd go black and white, but now that I've had a look at what color can present versus black and white, why wouldn't you just go with both? Yeah, why wouldn't you just go with both? If you would like to subscribe to the Phantom Cave YouTube channel, you can do that down below at the description down below. And as always, keep Phantom Caving. And as always, when we actually do the advertising for the podcast, I usually list, most of the time I list all of the, where you can find the podcast on the major podcast sort of services, and we also do it on YouTube, as I said earlier in this podcast. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, and we'll see you next time on the Phantom Cave